Wow!
Though Seinfeld has famously earned the reputation of being a show about nothing, the idea behind the series, which premiered on the 5th of July 1989, was anything but. Seinfeld began as a one-off television special. The original concept for Seinfeld wasn't for an ongoing series, but a one-off, 90-minute special titled Stand Up that was set to run for one night only in Saturday Night Live's time slot. Seinfeld was never pitched as a show about nothing. During a 2014 Reddit AMA, Jerry Seinfeld admitted that both he and co-creator Larry David were surprised by how Seinfeld earned its show about nothing moniker. The pitch for the show, the real pitch, when Larry and I went to NBC in 1988, was we want to show how a comedian gets his material, Seinfeld explained. The show about nothing was just a joke in an episode many years later, and Larry and I, to this day, are surprised that it caught on as a way that people describe the show, because to us, it's the opposite of that. Jerry Seinfeld had a run-in with Larry David long before either of them was famous. When asked about when he first met Larry David during a 2014 Reddit AMA, Seinfeld gave a surprising answer and admitted that even David didn't know this story. I actually was eavesdropping on him talking to another comedian, and I wasn't even in comedy yet. But he was leaning on my car in front of the Improv on 9th Ave and 45th Street, and this would be probably 1975. That was the first time I ever saw him, but we didn't talk. But he and this other comedian were leaning on the fender of my car, and I knew that they were real comedians, and I was still just flirting with it. They finally spoke at a bar a few years later and found they couldn't stop talking. We were both obsessed with the smallest possible issue. The opening music for every single episode of Seinfeld was different. That slap bass and those mouth pops and sighs may have sounded like they were all cut from the same track, but composer Jonathan Wolff made each one individually, basing them around Seinfeld's opening monologue for the week. I would build each monologue based on the list, this computer printout of his voice and what he was saying, how long it was, Wolff told Vice in 2015. It was a little bit more labor-intensive than most other shows because I had to redo that opening every time, but it was worth it. He was creating new material. As long as he's creating new material, I'll do the same thing and I will create along with him. The diner used for the exterior shot of the eatery the Seinfeld gang frequents is famous. Known as monks on the show, the restaurant seen in the shot is actually a diner called Tom's Restaurant that is located on Broadway and West 112th Street in New York City. Before Seinfeld had gained fame as the basis of the 1981 Suzanne Vega song Tom's Diner. Seinfeld's Kramer was originally Kessler. In the pilot episode, Kramer is called Kessler, as the real Kramer, Larry David's former neighbor, Kenny Kramer, was hesitant to let his name be used for the show. Eventually, the real Kramer relented. Though he says he was paid just $1,000 for the use of his name in the series, Kramer has since profited in other ways, namely with his Kramer's reality tour bus tour, which is now in its 22nd year. Michael Richards' shoe wardrobe on Seinfeld didn't change, ever. For the entire run of the 9-season series, Richard wore 2 identical pairs of black Doc Marten boots. Jerry Seinfeld wanted Jake Johansson to play George on Seinfeld. Though it's hard to imagine Seinfeld without Jason Alexander as George Costanza, Seinfeld admitted that Alexander was not his first choice for the part. In an interview with Access Hollywood, Seinfeld said that he begged fellow comedian Jake Johansson to take the part, but Johansson refused. The rumors that Steve Buscemi auditioned to play George on Seinfeld are not true. For years, it was rumored that Steve Buscemi was one of many soon-to-be successful actors who unsuccessfully auditioned for Seinfeld. David Alan Grier was also in the mix, as was David Letterman's band leader Paul Shaffer, who said in his autobiography that his resemblance to Larry David, upon whom George is based, was what made him of interest to the show's creators. But on a 2015 episode of The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Buscemi addressed the rumor in his typical good-natured way. "I never did the audition, and I don't know how to correct it because I don't know how the internet works."
That's all facts and rumors for now. Leave a like, comment, and send this video to your friends. Bye bye, see you in the next episode.